Hi everybody, this is Daryl again at 151 Farms, and I am currently at Anna Gabriel's farm. So let's stand back a little bit, take a look at her property. As you may recall from earlier videos, she is one of the license applications out here in Arroyo Grande. Her property is located just down the street from Krista's. Hey Krista, Anna, and who else we got? We got Matthew Hutchins here too. So tell us a little bit about your property. How long have you had it, Anna?
I bought this in 1997. My mother and I bought this together, and I'd had a house in San Luis Obispo for a number of years and sold that so I could move to the country, and really good weather out here for growing cannabis.
It is indeed. It's just a beautiful property. How many acres?
10 acres of agricultural land.
Okay, and what have you grown out here besides cannabis?
Lots of garlic, and right now I have a garlic crop in, watermelons and squash.
And the current status of your application is what?
Pending, it's on hold until bills have been paid due to my last hearing with the county.
And you've been in this process since, what was it?
2016.
2016?
And
Okay.
19.
she was wrongfully denied, so we appealed
Feels
it.
like
So it's in appeal until further notice.
Okay. And the bills, they just keep coming.
Keep coming.
You're not able to grow. Do you mind showing us where the cultivation site was going to be?
Sure,
or
absolutely.
Hopefully will be.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
gate's open over here already, isn't it?
Yeah, the gate is open over here. Yeah, well, let's go on up this way.
All right, we're all yours. Tell us where you want to be. Now, you've got a lot of neighboring farms around here, too. Any of them cannabis?
When I first, the first 10 years, yes, we were all cannabis. Just before legalization, they all sold, and mainly homeschool, Christian-type families all moved in with lots of kids, and they were not nearly as thrilled about me growing cannabis as the last neighbors.
So where we're going right now is where the McBurney brothers had set up cultivation?
Yes,
Okay. Were these
Well,
hoop
they
house?
illegally graded all of this while Anna was asleep one afternoon.
yeah.
They brought in bulldozers, and she woke up and looked out the window and went, "What?" Because this was not here. Holy moly! Look at that elephant garlic.
So what size pots are these?
100 gallons.
Yeah, the
100
100s?
gallons, and normally we'd be growing cannabis. Not allowed to do that now, so I'm growing.
It was all outdoor, no hoops?
Yes.
right.
Well, and the
Yeah, that
alternative
smells
is
really
greenhouses, but to work with the neighborhood and the county, the neighbors didn't really want to see greenhouses, and we didn't want to listen to greenhouses. So the neighbors said they'd take it easy on us, and the county said they would help us if we went for outdoor only.
Now, just to remind everybody, you offered up the fact that you had been growing because the original application
Yes.
process asked you to identify yourself.
Yes, and I had to show proof of that. And after doing so, the county actually produced probably a few years of grow pictures from above. They brought out pictures they knew I was growing.
Now, at one of the hearings, they were saying that they saw you were currently growing. Well, clearly that's not the case. So they're misinformed. Maybe they had the wrong property, or do you think
Maybe
they were just
that's what my lawyer said to them. Maybe you guys are
inventing that?
confused.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we were denied.
Can we walk back a little bit more?
Sure.
So what's the last year you've grown here?
2018.
2018.
So the county asked us to claim taxes in order to continue to operate on our provisional licenses. And
But I
being as
refused.
being as
'Cause
we
I couldn't-
can't legally sell it,
Yeah.
we ended up sending it to distribution. It was our research and development, so there were no taxes to be claimed. So because we didn't pay taxes, they would not allow us to use the provisional license that we paid $10,000 a
to the
piece
state.
for.
And also, your window for being licensed with like CDFA and other agencies has been compromised as well, too. 'Cause
Absolutely. I'd passed every agency so far. That point, I was current with every agency and passed every agency in the state metric system, everything. And
So the slow
the only
actors-
thing I was waiting on was SLO County.
The slow actors have been the ones that have been purposely delaying this, and now it's all about you not paying money that they just keep piling on.
Well, it's not just about me not paying money. I'm not paying money because I can't afford to, and so therefore I can't go forward until I've paid.
We're probably almost triple what your average conditional use permit or minor use permit is. So it's $26,000 to apply for anything with the county for a conditional use permit, and $16,000 and change to apply for a minor use permit. They've tacked on so many fees between the hearing and getting to this point that I'm probably $70,000 or more paying the county to process my $26,000 conditional use permit.
I think they have a word for that. It's called extortion.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Now, and as you compare this to other licenses that have been approved, especially like those that get approved at the board meetings, you got to feel that there's some favoritism, cronyism. They're not. It's not impartial.
I don't really understand. And you can look up this way. Our neighbor here is a dinosaur on the hill.
Oh yeah, cool.
At first, the county told us to be 30 feet from the fence, so we did.
Uh-huh.
And then the county said be 100 feet from the fence, so we did. And then the county said be 300 feet from the fence. But I'm only 390 feet wide, so I can't go 300 feet this way and 300 feet this way. So I can do greenhouses. I can put up greenhouses here and be within 30 feet of the fence.
Is water an issue?
Oh, well, it's never been for me, but they did claim during the hearing that that was one of the main reasons they denied me, was that there was inadequate water. But yet I had all my reports that stated that there was plenty of water, and I had all my water analysis and my well tests and all the tests came out showing I had plenty of water to do this project. But yet they insisted at the hearing that I was causing hardship on neighbors by taking all the water.
And how have the neighbors felt about your application?
Half the neighbors are really excited and want me to be successful. Most everybody around me wrote letters, really nice letters to the county stating that they were upset about the people that were here in 2017, but that I've removed them from the project and that things are great now and they're really happy about it and they want to see me succeed.
Well, in addition to ripping you off, what other hardships did they bring to this particular project that would have affected our neighbors? Traffic, for example.
There was a lot of traffic at the time. There was a lot of noise at the time. There was basically 24/7 partying going on. They gave those brothers a lot of money, and those brothers had never had restrictions on what they did with it. So they just bought lots of cocaine, lots of Jameson.
You weren't involved in any of that, though.
No.
Okay.
I was on oxycodones, oxycontins, and Percocets because of broken back.
So
I was in bed a lot of it.
So they're taking advantage of somebody that's on prescription medications. Your mother, how old is she?
She's close to 80.
So you have
she's
somebody
in the older folks
in the late 70s, early 80s.
Senior living situation.
That they've abused her. She was a named defendant in the case.
Yes.
Do your neighbors know that if this receivership goes through, that the brothers will end up back with the property?
No.
Not yet,
no.
anyway.
None of the neighbors know that. And actually, the brothers won't be back here, but the restaurant guys will.
Oh.
It's they don't name the brothers at all in the suit.
Okay.
There's never a mention of the brothers.
I see.
But the restaurant guys, and even the restaurant guys, they don't mention their names either.
That's a problem.
So the people that are involved in suing me live in San Diego, actually. And so I don't have any dealings with them. I never really did. I met the one guy, Brian Alexander. Hey, Krista. And I met Brian Alexander a couple of times, but I didn't have any dealings with him.
Yeah, this has been all orchestrated, and there's clearly a problem with every level of this.
Yes.
So let me ask you, you have current counsel right now. Do you intend on keeping him for that June 2nd hearing where they're going to reevaluate the case?
My gut instinct at this point tells me to call him on Monday morning and fire his ass.
Well, I just spoke to another lawyer friend of mine today that after giving him all the information, he suggested that we need to get new counsel right away.
And what was the basis of that recommendation?
Because when I first contacted this lawyer after finding out from the local sheriff that...
And what lawyer is that?
Mike McMahon. Oh, the lawyer
The lawyer is
that talked to me today
currently representing you as Mike McMahon.
Mike McMahon. But my friend Babak Nefesi, he helped us when we fought the oil. He's an environmental lawyer.
Okay.
And because he helped us with when we fought the oil, and I was very involved, I felt comfortable calling him. Even though I know this is not his expertise, but
No.
I felt I needed some kind of
specialized.
I need some encouragement to do something,
Right.
because I feel like I'm about to get hosed.
Yes.
And he right away said, the first thing he said is, "You're not going to like this, but I'm going to tell you, you need to fire your counsel and get a new lawyer immediately, because the counsel that you have told you that that when you were served, that he would help you, and then you weren't served, and now this has happened. He should have been on it right away and started fixing it immediately."
Right.
And so I need to get another
Well,
lawyer.
isn't he doing? Excuse, this may be naive, but isn't he doing that with the June 2nd hearing?
He started doing that with the June 2nd hearing, and then we received a bill 2 weeks ago outlining that all of these things have been done, and we spent 2 weeks emailing him and calling him trying to say, can we see what you've prepared for us? Is it prepared? So you're already sending us the billing saying that it's been done.
And when you say we, you're talking all 5 defendants.
Well, basically she and I, because
And Carolyn.
Carolyn and
Mo
A.G. Harvest, Mo has his own lawyer,
Yes.
but Carolyn doesn't know what's happening because I don't want to bother her because she's already nervous about it. If I was to tell her every detail, she'd be probably dead by now. And
But
then
he's
I'd lose everything.
he's representing her.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I've asked to
So
see
that's
what
what's
he has
clear.
prepared for
That's
her,
what's
and he
not
hasn't
clear.
shown anything.
Because you really aren't a party to these negotiations with Anna.
When we sat down during our initial meeting before we had the retainer, he pointed at me and he said, you're the easiest one to deal with because all we need to do is file a motion that you are not a financial interest partner, you were the manager only. That gets you off the lawsuit. So he said that right away.
Then why hasn't that happened? That's a demurrer.
Yeah.
All right. So
And
he
I
had.
feel like that should be included in what we're dealing with June 2nd.
I think that there's a very good argument to the fact that these people are all cozy. They're local council, they're local board of supervisors. There's a local judge that seems to be at the heart of all of this. And all I know is that there's a lot of grows around here.
I could be wrong.
And based on my familiarity with all of the board of the SLO licenses that have been approved, I'm willing to bet 50% of what I know to be growing around here is not licensed. Is your sense that there's projects that are unlicensed being allowed to operate? What's your sense on that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would imagine
it's not even a guess.
I know the black market is alive and well, and I do know that there's some very large grows in our county that are not licensed or even in the process to becoming licensed.
Okay, so the drones and the things that you've experienced with them flying over your properties and wanting and demanding to see your taxes, that's more adversarial. That's not a cooperative spirit of seeing that license. They want you gone.
They're more concerned
That's what it
about
feels like.
whether or not we put a plant outdoors. We are very clear in this county that even your medical grow, you can't have your 6 plants outdoors. They have to be inside.
Okay.
So they've told us through this whole process, if we flower one plant outside where we are approved or we are in the pipeline, we are to lose our licensing.
What do you think your neighbors would think about this if they knew what was going on? Because, I'm going to say 95% of them around here don't have anything to do with cannabis or licensing or
I
anything
would
else.
imagine they'd be pretty upset and feel that a travesty is occurring and that it shouldn't be allowed.
So it's going to take having to bring this to their attention.
I think so.
Because if they can do that to you, they can do this to anybody.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
here I am, a person trying to do it legally, going down to the county and saying, yes, I want to do this legally. Here's my money, and here's my proof that I've done it that I've done it under Prop 215 prior to coming down to you. And with all the money and all the people and all the time that's gone into just this, which isn't much.
Still, this is enough to survive on with your other crops and the things you're doing.
700 outdoor
But
lawn
you're being
plants.
tapped every single day, week, month
Yeah,
for fines
financially.
and fees
Yes.
that there's not enough
We have
revenue
to
coming in to
have
cover
there's
this.
no
corporation,
revenue.
We have
There's
to
no
pay
revenue.
our bond. We have to continue to pay our consulting fees. We've had to pay.
Everybody says keep paying everything so you
Traffic
stay current.
analysis, biology.
Where are you getting that advice?
From like the water board,
Okay.
from the surety bond people, from the
We have to pay our
state,
water board fees, whether
you
we're
name
operating
it.
or not.
They all say stay current. That way you're in the process. And
Even with our water board, so this is interesting. So even though they know that I'm not operating where I'm currently at because of my provisional license, they realize that because we moved to the location, that is now a negated provisional. So now I have to pull a whole new provisional. So in doing so, they're trying to figure out how it moved from one place to another. First of all, well, the county allowed me to do it here as per the ordinance. So,
very convoluted.
It is very convoluted, but is it safe to say that more or less Krista's your conduit? She's sort of the spear, the tip of the spear. You're not so much of the activist and involved in all the different projects. You're worried about your project and your
Absolutely.
land. Okay.
Absolutely.
So she's been a vital element to keep you informed of the corruption.
Absolutely.
and I'm helping people like Anna to help myself as well. I mean, I'd hate seeing what's happening to Anna because I know I'm in the same line. To
Well,
get
we
the same
fundamentally have to
treatment.
change the way these licenses
Right.
are applied for. And the reality is it has to be based on water, land use regulations. These are all constitutional issues that our governments are given the power to control.
So
But
with-
when they do so fraudulently and pay to play,
Right.
that's where the problems begin.
So we have to remain current on everything, and the water board is actually requiring me to pay my $600 for this year, even though I'm not operating this year.
Yeah.
Because it's $1,500 for the next year that I have to go to. But if I don't pay the $600, it'll kick me out of my enrollment. So I have to pay the $600, hope whether I grow or not.
Yep.
And then when I enroll in my upper tier, I have to pay the balance of $900 to go to the $1,500 fee to keep myself current with the water board.
Even though you're not allowed to
Even
grow.
though I'm not operating, and it has nothing to do, and they don't really know what to do. Like My provisional license, I got all those pots out behind the house. You can't see them because of the weeds. They're saying that we can't use mechanical equipment to remove those during the watershed. So from November to April, we can't even remove those pots.
Wow.
To negate the fire hazard of our house.
No, that's not a realistic view.
None of this is realistic.
And administrative values.
None of this is
You're paying
realistic.
these people. You're paying an enormous amount of money, and now the attempt is to relieve you of your property.
Well, and we were told by Maria, one of the code enforcements. She said a couple of years ago, she said spend as little money as possible.
Who's behind all this at the SLO level?
Lynn Compton. I don't know. You'd have to ask Debbie Arnold. At the very first big hearing, right as they were about to vote on the ordinances, she threw in that there would be no water. You wouldn't have to prove water. What was it? Water credits, or you wouldn't have to make a deferment of water credits. And so she tried to slip in that we wouldn't have to pay anything extra on water. And that just told me that there was
A bid adieu to Anna Gabriel and her lovely farm here. I just wanted to get a quick shot of your barn. That is a marvelous looking structure, Anna. Can
Incredible.
It really is. Now, are you going to be able to use that for any processes in your cannabis?
they don't allow that. This is specifically for ag. It's ag exempt. But being that they don't consider cannabis ag, we're not allowed to use it for anything cannabis related.
So how do they expect you to dry?
Well, this would be the perfect place to dry because of the slats between the slats and the boards, all the air that flows through. We had concrete put in and the structure reinforced, but they said no, it's strictly for regular agriculture. And so they've asked us to, well, they didn't ask, we offered.
Well, we found a loophole.
We found a loophole.
So the loophole is that you have to have an F2 use permit applicable to the building you're going to use for drying, which is, we don't grow crops that you dry in California for an F2 use permit to even compute.
Okay.
And
So
F2 use would be
F2
cannabis, or
No, for
tobacco.
Drying, no, drying period.
Oh, I thought they were for just tobacco.
No, it's for drying.
But
any
just
crop.
another hurdle, because this is perfectly suitable.
There
It's
is
perfectly
no
suitable.
There is no other crop that we grow and dry other than tobacco. So the F2 use permit is specifically that permit can only be applied to certain types of buildings. So what we discovered is a loophole in the modular trailers. Modular trailers are federally approved.
Okay.
Therefore, they qualify for the F2 use
But you're going to be forced to put a modular trailer in?
Two of them.
Bring in
We've
modulars.
already added them to our proposed project.
Oh, how silly.
I have 12 of them going in at my site, and they all have to be under a certain square footage, or we have to install fire sprinklers.
That is an absolute blight to this landscape.
Absolutely.
I got to put 13 dry trailers on
They'll
my
be
property.
right over there. We've already paid $5,000 to have the pad built to house them. We've dug the trench to put in the conduit, but have not run the wire yet, being that we can't pull the permit until we're through the process.
My earlier shot might have been interrupted. I ran out of battery, but you point to Lynn Compton and others that are just making these executive decisions, and they're not really realistic in terms of what the actual needs are for this community and for the Cannabis Corps. Now, I've noticed in the background here, and maybe you can point this out, a neighboring property has quite a few hoop houses. How are they dealing with that in terms of water usage, and how does that stack up in your permit application in terms of the amount of water you're using?
Well, from what I can gather, when I'm up on top of my hill looking down on that, it looks to me at about 10 acres that they have under agricultural use right now.
And is it cannabis, or can you tell?
I don't know what's in those hoops, but whatever it is very green.
It's very green.
I can't say that it's anything illegal.
But
It
it's
could be
year-round
sweet
crop
peas.
production, unlike yours.
Yes.
Okay.
It's year-round crop production, and they put in row crops, and so I'm sure that they're using quite a bit of water.
Well, you have conditions of your permit approval was water too, right?
They denied me on condition that they said that I was using all the water and not leaving any for the neighbors, but they had no proof of that, even though I have all my well tests and my water analysis. Everything points that I have a functioning well that can support this project. And when I spoke to the well guy about the situation, he laughed at me. He says, well, you know, the farm down from you, they're pumping 300 gallons a minute. You're
What?
only pumping 10 gallons a minute.
Oh,
and
my
these guys
word.
are pumping 300 gallons a minute because they've got acres and acres and acres of lawn.
Well,
They're
growing
rich and they can
alfalfa.
afford it. That's fine.
Border Ranch is irrigating over 25 acres of alfalfa. So there's no distinction really of, okay, it's ag land.
From a strictly water perspective, it shouldn't matter that it's cannabis. It should matter what your consumption is based on the square
Yes.
footage.
And there's
Yes,
a difference in
I
ag.
agree to that.
If you're putting livestock out on hills to eat grass and you're not irrigating it, that's one type of ag. To do agriculture where you're irrigating it, you're pumping water out of the ground to water it, that's a different classification of ag.
Yes, it is. And I'm going to give a little shout out to my rock tubs here. So if you're on the 151 Farmers website, go review my rock tubs video. Each one of those rock tubs is 275 gallons, about 250 once we cut the top off and modify it. But just imagine, that's a massive single plant, and we're using only captured rainwater in that. So my problem with CEQA and these environmental impact reports against the cannabis growers is they're making these really hard to overcome and not properly suited to the environment, like the big fences, the cameras on 8-foot plus poles.
And you can pan and see right here, I've put this green fencing. They wanted to not be able to see through at all, so I had to upgrade from the first green fencing we put, because you could see 80% through, or 80% it was blocked, but 20% you could see through. So we went and invested in this other fencing that now you can't see anything through.
And is now synonymous with a cannabis grow?
Everybody that sees this knows there's a cannabis grow here. And then we've had to put the cameras, you can see them up on the top of the poles.
Yes,
way
I caught
high.
that, yes.
And that's an eyesore.
It is indeed. I mean, you're literally creating a compound here,
Yeah.
similar to any kind of gulag.
And this is my family. This
Yeah.
is my family home. This is my farm. This is where me and all my animals and my girlfriend, my mother someday, my girlfriend's mother someday will come to live with us throughout to end their lives.
And revisiting the
We've
fact
got
that you
chickens,
were
we've got-
heavily medicated when these deals were made with the McBurney brothers, and cannabis is an important part of your medication and your treatment
time,
for
big time.
homeopathic
I couldn't move without
holistic
it.
repair. So pay attention, folks. We really appreciate you having us out here. The fight is just beginning, in my
I feel
opinion.
like we're just at the beginning.
And let's all get together and share these stories, because there is strength in numbers.
I agree to that.
Rock on. Thank you, guys.
Hang on.